What up? Y'all may remember this guy. It got a new fan motor, condenser fan motor, blower motor, I don't know, a couple months ago. And it worked fine until recently. We got all this heat hit us all of a sudden. It feels like it's not hot coming out, but let's get our panel open, see what's going on. We had a low pressure switch fail as well, and I believe the low pressure switch there's a problem there. That's C1. Blew the spring out and lost a contact. So let's see why that might have been. This got 2 new contactors, I think, at that time, and the other ones looked okay, so I'm not sure what happened there. That one might have got replaced too. So we might have a compressor problem, but it feels like maybe we've got one compressor running. So let's get in there and take a look. This guy's freezing up, obviously. This guy's hot because that's my compressor that's not running. So I'm probably out on overload here, and I don't know. Yeah, that's the second stage because it's the stage on top. Let's check the blower and then we'll check that compressor. We'll let it cool off because it's gonna have to close the overload. So let's get an amp draw on the blower motor. The overload's not tripped. The blower motor's awful warm. It felt like it had some airflow static pressure issues possibly when we put the motor in, but the amp draw was okay. I just want to see the blower run. So that was 8 amps. Belt's a little wobbly. I had the door off, so the amps were going to be up, but the blower's running, it's going the right direction. So we probably got we got a refrigerant issue on that one. That's why it was froze up. It's the only thing I can figure. We found that's the low pressure switch I replaced. It's liable to be low on charge again. I did a quick scan of everything and didn't get any hits, and then the only hits I got were on the cormax, of course, and I didn't get a hit on these cormax, but it was running, so I didn't really look that hard. And I can see I didn't put new caps on. You can see I put new caps here, so I didn't put new caps on the other stage. So maybe we do have another cormax leaking. It's possible it could be in the evaporator or anywhere else. I don't see any oil inside of here, anything that looks like the condenser was leaking, and it would be empty if I was leaking on the condenser side. So let's keep on digging. We got a blower, we'll let it thaw out, and we gotta get that contactor replaced. There's my contact. I didn't see it at first. I mean, it's pitted, but it probably got worse because it wasn't pitted that bad last time I looked at it. And actually they gave me 2 contactors. I think I decided to leave that one and change the blower motor since the blower motor had some issue, and I think that one was worse off. And now it's gonna get changed anyways. I should have done all of them. Learned my lesson. Just check my pressure switches. gonna hit around those. It's weird it was froze up. I think that's just water over there, but I do see a little spot. I don't see anything else. It's thawing out now. Just had a big old chunk of ice fall over there. I wouldn't expect my fittings here. Yeah, they're good. See, I got the lines wire tied. So I don't see anything too abnormal. Now it's been shut off for a little while, but the bottom of that dryer is cool and the top is not. So we need to get a temp drop on this dryer. Maybe it's just the dryer's restricted. That's an original dryer. And I don't know what's all been done to that stage. Homed out the compressor. It's still a little warm. We're gonna let it cool off while we put a contactor in, but the charge on that guy should be okay if I was correct, and my only leak was on the cormax fittings. And then I'll have to gauge up on that guy and see what the hell's going on. I'm just gonna give a quick scan in my evaporator. I went over the evaporator before too. You can see the ice back there. Alright, so let's keep going. I know we got a motor, we got another compressor now. And I gotta get a contactor in. 2-pole 40, 24 volt. Pay attention to your coil voltage. I found a 230 volt coil on a 24 volt system the other day, and it wasn't working real good. So swap that contactor and we'll see where we go. So I just cracked my caps, and those valve cores are leaking. I don't know what kind of seals are in them. Now that's my suction line there. It had a seal, it just fell out when I took it off. And it's gonna hit too now. But that guy, of course I had it off if this thing was sitting here running high pressure. Especially being on a discharge, there is a seal in there. But that's leaking pretty good. It's gonna spit through that cap as the pressure raises. So we're gonna get at least new caps, maybe a swivel tee on that guy to stop it from leaking. Because I mean, it wasn't tripping low pressure, so it's got most of its refrigerant. It's only lost a little bit, I would assume. We put, I think it was like 3 pounds in the other stage. I think they hold 9 or 10 or something. So we're not going to recover just to change that valve core, and I don't have a tool. So if we can't stop the leak, which we probably can just by putting a gauge on it, and then we'll recheck it and just let that seal reseat, and we can probably get that stopped leaking. and then if we need to, we'll put swivel T. If nothing else, we'll throw new caps on it if we can get it to stop. So these can be a pain in the ass because Carrier shoves all these wires in here. These wires are thick gauge wires, and it's hard to get them up in there without bending your wires over and you got wires poking out. If you take your lug all the way out, get the wire up in there nicely where you're happy with it, and then slide the lug in, it works a whole lot better. These can be hard if you leave the lugs in. So we're gonna lock that down, and then we ought to be ready to go. So we got a new contactor. Compressor ought to be good. I'm connected to stage 2 that was running. That was stage 2 there. We got some stage 1 pulled into. We'll give it a few minutes to cycle from the, I don't know why the Carriers do that when you cycle them on. Compressors like to run for a second. We'll let them cycle on normally. There was just a little bit of ice on the evaporator, which should melt off. 5.7 amps on my blower. I think it was rated 7 or 8. 7.4. So, I mean, you can just feel it's drawing pretty hard on that side. I'm not sure why the pressure's so much, but amp draw's okay. That'll be good. We'll let it cycle on and see what our pressures look like on this stage. Get a temp drop, make sure the other stage doesn't freeze up or anything. It got charge added and the leak's fixed, so we'll get a temp drop and kind of go from there. I don't think I'm gonna have to do anything with the first stage. It was just out because of that contactor. So I'm looking at the ERV now. That's not running. This ERV is gonna be tied into that, and I wonder if that's not why it's drawing so much. This is supposed to be feeding it some air, some fresh air. So we could always crack the economizer because the economizer's closed. I don't know exactly what's wrong with this, but I got no outside air damper right now. Like I said, it was turned off. The wheel's not running. That's gonna need some further diagnosis. Still waiting for that guy to time out. I did hear it. I heard some kind of actuator opening, but I'll just let them know what they've got. This is down. If they want us to look at it, we can. Unless it's causing me too many problems here, I'm not going to be terribly concerned about it. It's been off for a while. I went my first stage. I got a cool suction line. What the fuck? That's why. No wonder the contactor burned up. Something burned the contactor up. That scared me. I was gonna get an amp draw and then, but amp draw was a dumb idea anyways. I need to check the only reason that should chatter is one of these switches, which we already had. The low pressure switch failed. I wonder, the heat we've had, I wonder if it's not this high pressure switch. Yeah, that would have not been good for it. Huh. Well, how about that? Let's check our switches and make sure. There's my connection point there. It's just wire nutted in, but they're good connections. So let's check them up here. And then I'll be ready next time. I'll make sure they're closed. That was circuit 1 is on the bottom. Low pressure should be good because it's a new switch. It seems good too. It's closed now. Let's I might get my alligator clips and measure voltage across it and see if I'm losing. See if it's dropping out maybe. Something dropping that contactor out. So now I've got my amp clamp set up and I'm on the high pressure switch. So if we read voltage here, we'll know that high pressure switch is open or opening and chattering that contactor. The low pressure switch is new, so I don't think it's that, but and I had a cold suction line. It was about a normal suction line for what my indoor temperature is. I got my high side actually hooked up to verify that the pressure switch isn't doing what it's supposed to, but I doubt it's not. It's probably 90 plus out here now, like 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. We got 82 degrees coming in. So we'll let this guy cycle back on and see if it doesn't go crazy again. Just kicked in, 7 amps on my compressor. Running by, getting up to 400, which is normal. It's 410A. This thing got voltage. Now let's prove it. Why am I getting voltage? That's that switch. It's that damn switch. I think the compressor, I don't know if it's still running or not. No, it's not. I ain't got no amps. So that compressor went out on overload. Let's go ahead and pull that guy. We'll let the second stage cycle. I was not high enough on pressure. I was under 400. That shouldn't be cycling like that. And we'll try to get a jumper on here. So I'm not going to leave it like that, obviously, but at least that'll prove that it's not the low pressure switch or something. I mean, I was seeing voltage, so something wasn't right there. And I suspected that high pressure switch. So we'll let this guy cool off. We'll let the other compressor come on and watch it for a little bit and see if we need to add charge and how much. Maybe we need to get a temp drop across the dryer to make sure it's not restricted, and then we'll figure out the high pressure switch situation. Still gonna chatter. Alright. What the hell is chattering that? Let's try the low pressure. Could be it too. I think these run in series, so technically that should go through everything. The compressor sounds good. It went pretty quick last time. That's gonna be my problems in those pressure switches. We're just gonna have to figure out where and which one. So let's do that, see where we go. At least we know where our problem is now. This guy's cycling now too. I've got major restrictions. You can see my liquid line's condensating. And I'm cold coming out of my liquid line. Ice cold. So basically I'm putting my metering device right there. Okay. So now I gotta decide what they want to do here. We're gonna have to let them know what's going on, because we got pretty major repairs there to a refrigerant circuit that's had some issues. Of course, once we recover all the refrigerant, we can put new valve cores in, and we need to change out both of those dryers and see if we got any more problems. My issue at this point is, and my theory would be, when I found this guy the first time, condenser coil was completely plugged, and I'll bet we've got restrictions in the orifice that has made it into the dryer as well. So now everything's kind of restricted. Therein lies the problem. Is you come back and you change both dryers, you say you're good, okay, that's what we need to do to get the restriction gone first, and then see what else is wrong, do all that work, and then find the metering device is restricted, and you're kind of back to square one. Alright, so we're going on with the repairs. I cycled the fan a few times and just verified my temp drop was still there, but the pressure got better on the other end. So I'm hoping, like I said, I think it's going to be in the oil probably, but I'm hoping it just got the dryer and maybe my orifice is okay. I'm going to blow the crap out of it with nitrogen. I'm running out of room on my phone, so I don't know how much I'm going to get. I pulled a good vacuum on my tank. I've got a filter dryer in the way. We've bled. I'm going to start my recovery and weigh what I get out so I know if I had a leak how big it was. And I've got a 16 cubic inch dryer that's going to go in place of the stage 2. We're going to get that one running first. Stage 1 didn't look as bad, and it had the pressure switch replaced and actually had refrigerant added previously, so it possibly has a leak too. So I'm starting with stage 2, and I'm just crossing my fingers. I talked to the customer. I know the guy. He understands what he's got, and I explained to him that we got to change the dryer before you can do anything else. So that's where we're at. We're going to do that and then flush with nitrogen. Every ounce of nitrogen I have on my truck is going through this system before I pull a vacuum and put refrigerant back onto it. So let's get our started here. And we can also see, make sure that dryer doesn't plug up. I got a good vacuum on it. I think this thing holds. Here I am still talking, said I don't have more room on my phone. It's gonna end like in 5 seconds. 11.4 pounds. So we're gonna make sure we get that out of it and go from there. So we're getting there. I can't see my phone, so I don't know what y'all can see. I had to move my tank, so I took a weight before, and we'll weigh it again in a minute, but we're almost there. I didn't point out, but I am doing some sketchy shit because the GFI failed, and I had 120, but I couldn't get to it, so I just pulled the whole switch out, and we'll put all that back together and make it safe when we get done. But you gotta do what you gotta do. Otherwise, I don't know where I'd get 120. This is 460, so I can't go one to ground, and then I'm sure maybe there's something over there, but that's just another thing that I'd have to carry up here. It's fucking hot. That damn cloud's moving now. I wish that cloud stay there. 104. Is that all? Come on, Mother Nature. You can do better than that. I left my hygrometers at a place I was yesterday, so I don't even have the dew points, but I checked dew point yesterday and it was like 80% or 80 dew point. It was quite hot. So we're gonna let her pull down. I think my only leaks were there. I've also got, I always carry some of these on my truck, so we'll change those out when we go, especially if we are low, but we'll see where we go from there. So I got my gauges turned off. Looks like we're at almost 27 pounds. I was at 20.9 and that was 4 pounds. So 20, and then so almost, that's about 11 pounds, I guess, if my math's right. It's probably not right now because I'm hot. My brain's not really been working. I ran a call late last night too. But 11 pounds, I'm pretty damn close. I still have a little bit of pressure in there. So we're gonna let it pull all of it. Those valve cores were leaking. I'm probably gonna replace them anyways. even though they probably stopped. But you can see we still got a little bit in there. So I'll do that, cut the dryer out, put a bigger dryer in, blow it out, pull a good vacuum, and I'll bet at least that stage works. We'll get that one running and then switch over to this one, and probably gonna have to do the same thing. So one thing at a time. So a little bit of hot block goes a long way. Just a little bit on the top and bottom. Your bracket won't fit on the 16 cubic inch. So I got a wire tie holding it up. Everything's tight and in there. We're gonna hit that. I blew it out with nitrogen. The nitrogen flows pretty good through both ways. I was holding my, liquid side coming out of the condenser and feeding it through the suction line coming back, and it's flowing through there. So I'm not going to put any flush in it. It kind of is what it is. I think it's going to be okay, at least better than it was the time I get done, because it was noticeable. I didn't have to put a temp probe on there. I put my hand on it, and you can feel the warm coming in and condensating coming out on that dryer. So we're gonna blow another tank of nitrogen, because this one's about empty. It's gonna have enough just for my purge while I'm brazing this in, and we'll go from there. We'll get a vacuum and then we'll start on the other guy. So the joints look good. Time to pressurize. Let's go to test. Always flow your nitrogen with your flow of refrigerant so you can tell if you've got a restriction. What the hell am I missing here? Oh, duh. Turn the damn tank on, idiot. It's coming up on that suction side good. I don't know if the metering device is restricted, which begs the question, what the hell got in the dryer? Unless it truly was the oil and it just didn't get the orifice, it got the dryer, which would be lucky. The HVAC gods finally looking down on me. Alright, so we're gonna let it sit. I'm pretty sure my joints are good. We'll let it sit and we'll pop new cormax valves in if we need to. Anytime you're pressurizing with an analog gauge like this, let it sit. 5 minutes may not be enough. If you got a small leak, it may not show up. So make sure you let it sit for a while and watch. And if it drops any, it's not equalizing, it's not doing anything other theory that you can come up with. If it drops, it's leaking. You've got to stay hydrated when it's this hot. I done finished my PDO. I just filled it up with some water. I think Mother Nature took me up on that challenge. I don't even know if y'all can see that. That's showing 108. I'm not even hungry. I don't even feel like eating lunch. I'm just gonna take little breaks throughout and stay hydrated. So I bumped it up to just over 120. That's usually what I like to do, is just a little bit over a certain whatever number you choose, and let it sit. It's been sitting for at least 20 minutes and it hasn't moved an inch, so I'm happy with that. Our pressure test is good. I'm gonna get my I was gonna say hot block, but it's not hot block, it's wet rag, because I can't get hot block, but I do like the wet rag. Then we'll start on the other guy. Let's get the cormax changed out and then the vacuum started. Let's see how long this takes. I just got the one hose with the Appian core depressor. I was gonna keep from going through my gauges because I was gonna maybe recover the other stage. So we'll see how long it takes. I might change ideas if it don't come down fast. I'm just running the other stage right now. That's stage 1. I mean, it's completely plugged. The liquid line's ice cold. I've just been kind of cycling my fan. I mean, it's not even cycling, the fan's not even really open. I mean, it's basically pumping down. compensating. I mean, it helps a little bit, but man, it was the low pressure switch, the new low pressure switch that was cycling. That's not the factory low pressure switch, and I don't like it. It's the differential's too close, I think. It needs to be a much wider differential. I don't know what the original was. It doesn't tell you on the originals. But anyways, we're gonna shut this guy back down. I just wanted to verify everything. It is much worse than the other stage, so I don't know. I mean, it's obviously restricted. I gotta get rid of it. I don't know how bad the orifice could be. I'm kind of surprised that the other stage flowed nitrogen so well. I don't know that the orifice is restricted. Something just got in that damn dryer. Which then brings me back to, do I want to reuse the refrigerant? I mean, I put a filter dryer on here to clean it up if it was in the refrigerant. I still think it's oil, but there's always some unknowns. You gotta make a logical, educated decision. So I think at this point, we got an old enough unit. We're gonna put the same refrigerant back into this circuit and this circuit, because I can only do one thing at a time because I don't have a damn plug. So we're pulling down. I got 10,000 microns. It's been running for, I don't know, 10 minutes maybe. So we're gonna let it be like that for a little while till we get back. I'm gonna go grab a bite to eat and just let this thing pull, and then we'll swap and do the other stage. Maybe this guy will be all right. So I just shut. I'm about 2 pounds shy. I got 9 pounds in it. This guy's gonna be all right now. It looks all right. I'm running about 105 out here on the roof, so this is normal for what I got. And it's only gonna go up when I get the other stage running. But all this looks fine. Like I said, 2 pounds shy. I'm gonna go ahead and swap my gauges. I'm gonna probably put the probes on. That's on stage 2, and let's start working on stage 1. So there's a glare everywhere. This is the best I could get. I'm still 2 pounds shy, and I mean, it looks like night and day compared to what I was doing. So I mean, hell, I'm doing almost 10-degree split. The humidity's probably crazy inside. 70 wet bulb. So I'm gonna get 2 pounds in that. I want to see where I'm recovering the other stage. I want to see how much refrigerant I get out of it, because it was leaking. It looked low, but I think these slight what might have been a slight restriction in the beginning has gotten worse, obviously, and plugged my dryers, whatever it was. It's got to be the oil. Refrigerants, I put the same refrigerant back in, and that stage looks fine. So I'm gonna see how much I can get out of this stage, because this was it hadn't been messed with except for a small leak. The dryers were original, so as far as I can tell, it hadn't been messed with, but everything looks original. So I'm gonna reuse some of that refrigerant if I'm overcharged on that stage. Alright, so this guy may have been overcharged slightly. My pressure came back up a little bit. I stopped. My weight was 17 pounds before, so 28 would put me at 11 pounds, which is what it holds, and a little bit over. So I know my leak was stopped there, and my charge was correct on that one as well. I mean, give or take a little bit. But let's get the dryer replaced and keep working. I'm probably gonna go ahead and dump 2 pounds in there. I'll bring a jug up later, that way I can keep moving. Filter dryer number 2. Kind of shit on the bottom of it there, but it looks all right. I didn't burn it up. I gotta get a strap on it. Our own pressure test. We're gonna let it sit while I go find another wire tie. Actually, that strap will actually fit, because that's an 8 cubic inch. I didn't have another 16, so that's what I went with. The 2 pounds in this guy, everything looks good. Everything normalized. The question is, what plugged the dryer? Because that orifice, I blew it out, but I mean, I didn't try real hard to blow it out. It's just like there wasn't a restriction there at all, and I didn't see the restriction prior, so it's a little weird. Let me know what y'all think about it. I'm gonna let this guy pressure test. We're gonna come back. We're gonna get this stage running. We're gonna start pulling a vacuum on that guy. That vacuum's taking longer than I expected. I'm actually kind of scatterbrained right now. I don't remember when I turned the vacuum on. But the first stage, hell, y'all can't see a goddamn thing. Has stayed nice and steady. That 11 to 12 subcooling, and that's 16 degree superheat. We were doing like 11 degree drop. Yeah, 10 and a half. I still don't know what y'all can see. Good temp drop. I'm pulling my probes off that stage so I can start getting some stuff down. I got most of the rest of my crap down already. The sun went in for a little while. Tried to hide behind those clouds, and then it's just ridiculously hot right now. So just start cleaning up. I'm pulling my probes off that stage. It looks perfect, and it hasn't, nothing's changed on it. We'll see what happens. If the restriction comes back, we know it's in the oil. We can get a few more years out of this thing, they'll be all right. So the bigger dryer should help. I wish I had a 16 for the other stage, but I don't. So it's gonna get what it gets. About 2,000 microns. We're getting there. So I got that other one right. The only plus about being here is I got ice machine. I've been at least having some cold water all day. I turned the thermostat down earlier. It already kicked out of the hole I had it in, so it was 80 plus in here. Obviously it's dropping. I could feel the difference when I came in. When I came back down the last time, so we're looking about similar to the other stage. Everything looks amazing. I lost my temp drop, my probes died, but I've had about enough of this place. I'm gonna get out of here. I couldn't ask for much better. I'll probably just use my regular thermometer and get a good temp drop on it. I'm happy with it. Thanks for watching. If y'all are still here, or if any of this is even getting recorded, I don't know. My phone's gonna die soon, so leave a trade better than you found it. See y'all next time.